What's up, Internet? My name is Adam. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, and this is Hot Button Hashtags. You know, one of the purposes of this channel is to talk with you and to talk to you about hot button issues of the day, right? The issues that are dominating the hashtags on social media, the issues that everybody is talking about, and I think we can all agree that everyone has been talking about this the last few days. And that is the fact that this weekend at 2 a.m., a shooter, a madman, walked into a nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and killed 49 people, his life also taken, and 53 other people were wounded in this. Now, those are the people who were physically hurt. That doesn't take into account the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of friends and family members who had their lives absolutely ripped apart by this senseless act of violence. The shrapnel of an incident like this spreads far, spreads wide, and hits and hurts a lot of people. One of the images that I read about that I absolutely have not been able to get out of my head is something I had never thought about. Think of the people, the investigators, going into that nightclub on the days after the shooting, bodies still laying on the dance floor, cell phones ringing because loved ones are calling, trying to get a hold of them, hoping that they answer the phone this time. Right? Mothers calling, fathers calling, sisters and brothers praying on the other end of the phone saying, I hope they answer this time. And so what I want to talk about in today's video is a topic that we always as culture talk about after incidents like this, but it's one that it seems like we rarely do anything about, and that issue is guns and gun control and gun violence. Now, I want to be very clear with you from the beginning. I am not coming to you, I'm not making this video saying, I have got a position, I've got the answer. Listen to me, this is what we need to do. We need more guns. We need less guns. I don't know. But here's what I know. I do know that there was a part in me that genuinely was scared because when I saw the headlines of this shooting, when I started to see it fill up my social media timeline, there was a part that felt common. It felt normal because, yeah, it's another mass shooting. Of course it is. Like, that's what we do now, right? I don't know if any of you felt that, but for me, there was absolute sadness and anger and loss and frustration and kind of rage inside against the evil in the world that would cause this. But there was also this feeling of, yeah, that sounds right. That's what we've become. And there's something in that is really, really wrong. Like, I don't want to live in a country or a world where those kind of events are normal, where those kind of events happen so often that we're desensitized to them. Now, here's the reality. I believe that there is evil in the world, and I believe that evil would be carried out even if there were no guns, right? Like, I believe that if that person had such hatred in their heart towards the LGBTQIA community that they would have walked in with a knife or a rock or a club or anything they could have gotten if they couldn't have gotten a gun. However, we probably wouldn't be talking about 50 dead. We probably wouldn't be talking about 53 injured. And so it doesn't matter what side you fall on. I think this issue is so important that both sides have to be willing to compromise. Both sides have to be willing to, at the very least, have a conversation, have to be willing to say, you know what, like, maybe I need to give something up because this is getting absurd. And I don't know if this is true, but I saw a headline that this is the 15th time that President Obama has had to give a speech after a mass murder like this. That is crazy. And I hope that you, like me, hear things like that, and it drives us to say, you know what? We can do better than this. And so I'm wondering, like, and I genuinely am asking this question, is there anybody out there who, like, sees what's going on in our country, who sees, like, all of these murders, who sees these shootings, who looks at that and says, I think everything's okay. Like, I think that this is fine. I'm okay with this being the status quo, because I'm not. And so I think maybe we need to talk about things like background checks. Maybe we need to talk about things like assault rifles. Maybe we need to talk about things like arming more people in certain locations and situations so they're better equipped to protect. Like, I think all of those things are things that we should talk about. I want to know in the comments below, and I really mean this, and I genuinely want you guys to keep this civil, because the reality is this screaming match we are experiencing as a country, it's not going to get us anywhere. Like, we're not going to make anything great again as long as we're screaming at each other. And so I want you to tell me in the comments below, what do you think some steps are that we could take as a country to help solve this issue? You know what? Maybe it's things like we need better mental health care. right? Because mental health issues are huge when you look at past gunmen and past shooters. Maybe it's, you know what, I am opposed to any kind of like limitations on buying guns. I think all guns should be legal. Tell me that, but tell me why. If you think that we should banish all guns, tell me that in the comments below, but tell me why. I really do want to hear from you guys on this, because one of the scariest things, as I mentioned, about this Orlando shooting for me was the grief for the families, the grief for the people whose lives were taken from them, but also the sense as I read the headlines that this is becoming normal. That to me is one of the scariest things, and I think if there's something we can do to honor people who have lost their lives, if there's something we can do to pay tribute to what happened, it's making sure that it doesn't happen again. It's making it infinitely more difficult for the next person who wants to walk into a nightclub and kill a bunch of people. We can do better, you guys. We have got to do better. And I know this is just one YouTube video, but my hope is that this video sparks a conversation that maybe changes one mind or one life, or gets one conversation to happen that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise. So tell me again in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.